What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be answering a question for all my self-employed, my freelancers, my independent contractors on whether you can get the PPP and the PUA, which is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, at the same exact time. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan Moore. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and a creative entrepreneur, and I like to make videos like this for other photographers, filmmakers, and creative entrepreneurs who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live. So if that sounds like something that you're into, feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel where I talk about photography, filmmaking, and what it's like to be a full-time freelancer. So on today's video, I'm going to be trying to answer the question of whether you can get the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, and the PUA, which is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, at the same time. I actually just got this question from a comment in a video that I did previously where I talked about the PPP loan forgiveness formula for sole proprietors, self-employed, or the independent contractors, or if you're a gig worker. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link for that in the description below. So when it comes to the question of whether you can get the PPP and the PUA, the unemployment, at the same time, the answer is, in all honesty, I really don't know. Now, I have a strategy that I'm going to be using during this whole time. I'll tell you what my strategy is and what I think that you should do, or maybe what you can do. But once again, you know, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney or any of those type of things. So if you having questions about this, maybe you want to talk to a professional. But this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be my strategy, and you know, you can feel free to use it or, you know, do what you want to do. It's up to you, really. So in regards to the PPP and the PUA and whether you can take them at the same time, there isn't a whole lot of guidance around this. There's not a lot of clarity. There's still a lot of questions going on around this. And the problem is that for a lot of us freelancers, independent contractors, the self-employed out there, we already filed for unemployment probably weeks ago. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New Jersey. And the unemployment system up here has been a complete disaster. Now, I filed for unemployment actually, you know, probably at the end of March. I think I did it on the 30th. So I haven't received anything. There's been guidance coming out around it, but it's not been very helpful. And there's a lot of people out there who still haven't received funds. So as soon as this CARES Act bill was passed, you probably were like, all right, finally, you know, something for us, because we're really in unprecedented waters, right? We're actually getting a bailout. And usually people like us, freelancers, self-employed, independent contractors, we can't participate in programs like unemployment normally. But now with these crazy circumstances and the health crisis going on, they opened it up to us and we can finally participate, but it's been pretty slow rolling out. So like I said, this is going to be my strategy going forward. As you know, I already applied for the PPP. The good news is that I did hear from my lender a few days ago. They told me that I was approved for the loan, and they'll be following up in the next couple of days to close out the loan. So we still have that going on, but this is what I'm going to be doing personally moving forward. Like I said, it's going to be up to you what you decide to do. So to my understanding, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, is built so that once you receive those funds, you're supposed to bring your workers or your employees back on if you have employees. Now, let's just say that a month ago the health crisis hit and you ended up laying off those employees. Well, now you're going to bring them back. And if you're bringing them back, then that essentially means that they're no longer collecting unemployment if they were during the time that they were laid off. So to me, this means that you're not really allowed to double dip, because you got to understand that the PUA is a federal program, it's not a state program, and that the PPP is also a federal program. So the funds are essentially coming from the same place. So to my understanding, you're really not supposed to double dip, but this is going to be my strategy going forward. So for most of us, when this whole thing hit, we applied for unemployment because it was a matter of survival. We needed the funds essentially as soon as we can get them. But the unemployment system has been just a mess all over the place. Okay. Now we also had this other program available to us, which is the PPP. Now, at this point in time, some people are starting to get funded for their loans. They've been approved, they got funds, maybe they even have the money in the bank. And up until this point, you've probably been waiting weeks for the unemployment to kick in, which it probably is starting to right about now or very shortly. So here's an example of what I'm going to do going forward. And like I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is my strategy. You don't have to follow it. Feel free to do what you want, but this is my strategy. So when I applied for unemployment, I applied on March 30th, okay? And when you apply, they ask you, a date that, you either stopped working or whenever the case may be, like when you were affected. So I had put in March 1st was the time that I was affected. So essentially, even though I haven't received any funds from unemployment, you can still claim those back weeks. So this is how I'm looking at it, and this is what I'm going to do. So I put in that my business was affected on March 1st. Now, I haven't yet received the PPP loan funds, even though I was approved. So, we're just going to hold tight. I'll believe it when I see it. But let's just say in the meantime, unemployment opens up and I'm finally able to certify and actually claim those weekly benefits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to claim benefits from the time that my business was affected until the time that I receive the loan funds. Think about it like this. Like I said, let's just pretend that you had employees and that you were bringing them back. Okay. So in the meantime, like you laid them off about a month ago, and during this whole time, they've been collecting unemployment. You get the PPP funds and now you bring them back to work. Okay. So now they stop collecting unemployment and you're giving them a paycheck. But in that meantime, while they were laid off, they were still able to collect unemployment. So I'm going to look at it the same way, that during that time I wasn't getting any funds or I didn't receive the PPP loan money, okay? I'm going to collect unemployment. I'm going to file and claim for those weeks that I wasn't collecting any money. So an example would be, let's just say I get the PPP loan funds on the 3rd, okay? So from March 1st until May 3rd, I'm going to claim unemployment for those weeks because I wasn't receiving any funds. Now, once you get the PPP funds, okay, that's when your 8-week period starts to kick in on the day that you get the funds. That's the 8-week period that you have to use it for your qualified expenses, whether it's paying yourself or the other 25% on utilities, mortgage, interest, rent, or any debt interest occurred in your business. Now, what I'm going to do is once I get the PPP funds, I'm not going to claim unemployment, or I'm not going to certify for benefits during that 8-week period. Now, I don't know what's going to happen during that 8-week period. Maybe we'll, be out of this whole thing. Maybe we won't. Nobody really knows right now. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to certify during the time period that I got the PPP benefits. Now, let's just say that this 8-week period runs out, and let's just say that we're still in the woods. We don't know what's happening. Things are still shut down. Business is still slow. Things really aren't moving. Well, at that point in time, I will probably just reopen my claim or file a new unemployment claim and start to claim unemployment for those weeks going forward. So the example, like I was saying, would be that let's just say I received the PPP funds on the 4th of May, okay? 8 weeks from that would be, June 22nd, right? So during that whole time, I'm not going to be filing for unemployment. Now, like I said, if we're still in the woods and things aren't looking good, at the end of that period, I'm going to reopen my claim, or I'm going to file a new claim, because the PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, okay, that goes on until July 25th, where you get the extra $600. So there's still going to be time to get that extra $600 a week on top of your state benefits. So basically what I'm saying is that if we aren't out of the woods from June 22nd until July 25th, I'm going to be claiming or certifying for those weeks, because for me personally, that's when my PPP loan fund, period would end. For everybody, it's going to be different. So you're going to have to mark, what works for you, or the times that you receive the funds. Also, when it comes to unemployment, you're going to have to remember the day that you claim that you were out of work, right? That your business was affected or that you were personally affected, because it's going to be, for me personally, it would be the day that I said that, I was out of business or that I was laid off or whatever the case may be, until the day that I received the PPP loan funds. So like I said, the PUA, it goes on, the extra $600 a month, that goes on until the end of July 25th or something along those lines. Okay, and then after that, they're saying that the state, will still be extended. So apparently you're able to collect both state and the federal extra 600, which is from the federal, and then your state benefits. So there will still be time to collect some of this money. We're not sure what's going to happen. Once again, like I said, there's not a ton of clarity around it, but just to be safe, that's my strategy going forward. Feel free to do whatever you want to do. I'm not a certified accountant. I'm not a tax strategist or any of those type of things. Okay, but from what I'm understanding from the bill, and like I said, there's not a ton of clarity around it, but what I will be doing is claiming the weeks, okay, that I didn't receive any income. Once I get the PPP loan funds, I'm going to stop claiming, okay, until that 8-week period is out, see what things are looking like. And then if things aren't looking good, I'm going to start certifying and claiming those benefits again. If things are looking up, I'll stop claiming. We'll be back in business. We'll be back to work, hopefully. Maybe if things are slow, you can still get that partial unemployment. So keep that in mind as well. So that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully you found this video useful and helpful. If so, please give me a like, drop me a comment. Let me know what's going on with you guys. If you got the PPP loan funds, if you filed for unemployment, if you were able to claim or get any money, because up here, like I said, in Jersey, it is a mess right now. There ain't no money flowing nowhere. So, hopefully you guys are doing better off than we are. And good luck with everything. So for all my people out there who are trying to build a life on their terms and get it how they live, this is your man, Jonathan Moore, and I'm signing out. Peace.